Hi guys, this is Easy Things to Draw. Today I'm going to talk about whether you should do artwork for exposure. And it's become a meme. A lot of people want free art, and I'm going to talk about whether you should do it or not, and if there's any benefit to doing art for exposure or not. But I've been doing professional art for 15 years, and I will tell you my experience and people I've worked with, their experience. And if you're interested, even mildly interested in one day maybe doing art for a living or doing art on the side for extra money or anything like that, please watch till the end of the video and I'll talk about it. So if you like art advice videos, anything like this, please hit that like button. Also subscribe so you won't miss a future video. All right, what next? Oh yeah, anywho, let's kind of get into it. So exposure. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to say this. On the screen, I'm going to be having this Ghostbusters dog. It's from the Ghostbusters movie. I'm going to be doing this just so you're not bored. So you at least watch, entertained by that. It's going to be a speed painting of it, illustration. So, on Photoshop. Okay, let's get to the topic. Should you do things for exposure? Generally, no. Generally, never do that. It's a really bad thing to do. Also, don't do artwork for super cheap. I see that. Like, it's like rampant. People will be like, oh, I'm gonna do this character for $5 or some insane amount of money. Like, that is so tiny. That is so tiny. Don't do junk like that, because it lowers the entire bar for everything. The sea level drops, and it makes it hard for people to actually get paid for their jobs. So don't do it. It's not good for you. It's not good for anybody. Stop it. Really, knock it off. I made a video about this exact topic before, but I thought I needed an update. Okay, so are there pros and cons to doing stuff for exposure? As far as cases go, I would say usually not. In the past, I've done jobs for exposure way back, and it never really led anywhere. Very rarely did it lead to like an actual job, because people get used to getting free junk from you. Another thing I would say that's close to this would be when somebody wants you to do like a Kickstarter, and they have a Kickstarter project, for example, or a comic they want to do, and they're like, hey, work for free now, but when the money starts rolling in, you can get a percentage. That can work out, but it seldom does, because you have to know that most people are terrible. And this is really blunt, by the way, so I'm sorry if it's kind of world-shattering for anybody, but most people are really bad at selling. They're really terrible. So what I would say is, when someone has like a project, really look at the project and see if you believe in it, and see if you believe in them to... It's not just if you like the project or not. It's also if you believe in them to sell it correctly, right? To set it up and sell it correctly, because that's a big thing. If it's something that you really believe in and you think will make it, then yeah, by all means do it, form a contract, and get a percentage of whatever you're doing. So that's a really big deal. But let me give you another example. If someone's doing a project and they said, let's say for example, like an indie movie or an indie game or something like that, usually an indie movie, I would say, when you do, for example, like let's say you're doing a werewolf movie and somebody shows it around film festivals, and then they finally sell it to a studio. They're probably not, almost never, they're going to use the same artist that they did for the preliminary stuff. Usually, if a studio buys it, they have their own concept artists, and that they will use them. So that's not really going to pay off unless you're getting paid while you're doing it. Again, and I've had this happen all the time, by the way. People approach me for different projects, and they will say stuff like, oh hey, they'll give you that same pitch. Hey, I really believe in this, blah blah blah. Can you do it for free now, and I'll give you a percentage? And I'll just be like no, like I need stuff, I need money now, And so I just kind of work with them, for like an hourly job. And that's pretty much the way I work with people. It's easier that way. It's much better. It's much better. And then maybe I'll take like a small, tiny percentage also if it makes it. But nothing I've ever worked on has made it. And I've worked on like hundreds of projects. So Like I said, most of these don't make it. So that's just the reality of it. So be very careful about that. Another thing is, if people get free work, like I said, I kind of touched on this. People tend to take advantage. People are cheap, and I understand why. You know, I get it, because the quality of your work does dictate how much you get paid. Usually, not always, but that's a big factor in it. So if you're not very good and you're already charging like a tremendous amount, of course no one's gonna want to work with you. Your art has to stand out a little bit, or at least be kind of an adequate range where they can envision, you know, they can bring their vision to life and they can see it in your, let's say, style, or you can imitate their style, or you got to show your versatility. But I'm getting off track here. So another example, let me think of a positive. I think the positive was, if there's a giant website where that gets a lot of publicity and you know they have a track record for getting a lot of traffic, then maybe, yeah, do some free artwork for that. I used to listen to a podcast that had a tremendous amount of traffic. I'm not going to say which podcast. And I did some, you know, this on their carousel. I did a free kind of artwork for their carousel. And, you know, carousel is essentially the emotion graphic on their front page of the website. I did it for free. And I did quite a few things for free for maybe a month or so, until the guy told me, hey, I really like your stuff and I want to hire you. And I did a lot of jobs with that podcast for a while. So that can work out. You have to kind of select your battles. I do see people doing other stuff. Like what I tend to see people do is pick anything for free, and they'll just draw anything for anybody. And you're going to be wasting so much time doing that. It would be much better invested into doing your own portfolio, getting that strong, and then showing it to a company somewhere that you want to work at, just to kind of cut ahead. That's it. That's my general impression of this. Don't do stuff for exposure generally unless you believe in the project, just to recap. And work hourly. If you want to know how much to charge or anything like that, ask me in the comments and maybe I'll make another video on it. If you do like art advice specifically aimed at people that want to work in art, please let me know in the comments below, and I will, you know, see you guys soon. So also, don't forget, I'm going to be putting a how to shade ebook in the description there, and I also have, it's free right now, and then I also have a Patreon going on. If you do like my work, please consider supporting me on Patreon. That's in the description too. So talk to you guys later. I will see you soon, and yeah, I'll see you next time.